Hey, I don't have a script for this, so I'm just going off some notes. Welcome to the part 2 of the Phantom Thief of Time Speedpaint. This one is his rival, the detective, and also his surrogate daughter, because I love making things complicated for my heroes. Her name is Elizabeth C. Wright, but she goes by Liza for short, or Lizzie Mellon by her parents or godfather. She's 12 years old and a detective. Her favorite food is watermelon, and her favorite color is green. She's a kind girl, but tends to get in over her head due to jumping into cases headfirst. She gets into trouble a lot. And due to this, her godfather has taken to teaching her self-defense. This Speedpaint specifically, this time I actually showed you the sketch, though this sketch took a lot quicker since I based it off of the composition of the previous one. But it shows her in the shadow of her parents as they're watching over her. Unlike the other one, this is more a guardian thing than revelation of the true self. But I wanted them to go together, so the composition is largely the same. Now might be the right time to tell you that none of this is really set in stone other than the bare basic dynamics. So, name might not be final, design might not be final, it's pretty final, but it might change. All that stuff is likely to change over time as I improve the concept. Liza was born rich, very rich. Everyone is rich. And her parents were well-known history majors, specifically focusing on unsolved mysteries. They were very well-known. They discovered a lot of things, and their research is definitely considered some of the most influential of their time. So yeah, they're famous historians. They specifically focus on unsolved mysteries, and they've solved quite a few. Like, father's entire thesis was just analyzing Jack the Ripper's impact on society of the time. So their research surrounds not only trying to solve unsolved crimes, but also analyzing the impact. Both of them encouraged Liza to investigate suspicious circumstances and puzzle out the truth whenever she could. But unfortunately, on her 6th birthday, tragedy struck. It was a fun day, and they were going to go out for dinner, and the brakes on their car had been cut, and they crashed. Her father died on impact, and her mother was pronounced dead in the hospital hours later. Liza herself passed out during the crash and didn't wake up till the next day when she was informed of her parents' passing. She was lucky enough to get out of it intact. She didn't even break a bone, save major scarring on her hands and forearms. Ever since then, she's had a fear of fire. A few days later, she met her godfather for the first time. Her parents' friend that they had asked him to take care of her if anything happened to them. And so that's how those two characters met. He practically raised her for half her life up to the point, and they've become like family. She grew up taking the precious memories of her parents' teachings to heart, becoming a detective at 10. Unfortunately, this isn't a story where murder happens very often, so she mostly gets called in for theft or requested to solve family mysteries, debunk a ghost, all that fun stuff. She still encounters the occasional murder, and the first time was kind of traumatizing. She still solved the case, but, it's murder. Overall, she's very refined. She grew up a proper English lady, and she, very fashionable. I love drawing her in several different outfits. She's very fashionable. I could tell you about the first murder she came across, because coincidentally, it was also the first case she ever solved. They were all at a party. It was a fancy party for fancy people. There were like 3 different floors of people dancing. Then one of the chandeliers dropped onto a guest. This guest was a very well-to-do man. He was incredibly well known, but not very well liked. It was easy to find people with a motive and no alibi. Liza quickly took charge. She read about these. She'd studied how to be a true detective, and so she knew that she could solve this case. And though I haven't had it fully written down, the full details, the host of the party had set it up to kill this man, who had threatened those she loved most. And so, by the end of the day, the culprit was arrested. Liza had been congratulated and reprimanded just a little bit, and the guest went home. Liza knew that she couldn't just let people get away with murder. She had to be the one to solve crimes. So she started taking cases, more and more, mostly small stuff, like I said before, but occasionally she would be called in to solve bigger cases. A kidnapping here, a murder there. Not too many. And from there, her reputation grew until she became one of the most well-known, youngest detectives in Britain. And she's still fairly well respected, if somewhat underestimated due to her age. And the rest is, well, hopefully a story that I'm gonna make. So you've seen the Speedpaint, and you can see, and you've heard the context, and it might be a bit of a break as I focus on other things, but I'll still be developing this behind the scenes. These Speedpaints are kind of mostly experiments, hopefully to gauge interest in this kind of story. I don't have much of a following, but I hope that those who do see this are interested in it, because I like this story. I've always loved detectives and phantom thieves, and that's my jam. Nancy Drew was my favorite book as a kid. I would read all sorts of child detective books. I practically grew up on animes like Detective Conan and Magic Kaito and Kaito Joker, and I just adore it. And I hope you like the concept I made, and I hope I wish you guys good luck. See you soon, next Wednesday, hopefully, for another video.